So,
Okay. Well, we'll just jump in then. We'll
yeah.
fundraising, end of the year fundraising. Um, and we'll just let Matt Murphy start us off.
Little spreadsheet of what we're going to do at WERU. But first, doesn't seem like end of year fundraising is all that popular today. I don't know why, but yeah. I mean, I hate to sound crass and say, well, we still got to fundraise, but it sure beats laying people off. Um,
Yeah.
so I
Well, I'm
have
totally down with hearing what you have to say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you want me to? And then other thing is, I think what we have is not necessarily the be all end all. Some of it is tried and true. Some of it we're trying. It's kind of new to us. But our development director and finance manager and I had a meeting just today after our staff meeting, working on refining our plans. So, if I can share my screen, I can show you that. Do I?
Yeah, you should be able to.
Is that shared?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is just in a uh, spreadsheet with the fundraising methods, the start date, end date, and the person on the staff who's going to be in charge of it. Not necessarily do all the work, but in charge, and then a few notes. And so the first thing was we do twice a year, we do an additional gift and thanks mailing. So everyone who gave in the first half of the year gets in October additional gift letter, and everyone who gives during the second half of the year gets an additional gift in the spring. And so that was done at the beginning of November, and then for like 2 or 3 weeks after that, some checks and donations come in, and then it tapers. Then it tapers off. But that was pretty good this year. We were budgeted to make $3,000 on it. Was our target, and we made 5. So that was pretty cool, and not really expected. We have some stations send out, quarterly letters or twice a year or whatever. We have kind of a rolling system that once a month, there are some people get a letter from on their membership anniversary date. And so it's ongoing and rolling. So we're doing those and as normal. Before our right here, number 5 is our membership drive that we just concluded. But leading up to that, we got in touch with our top donors, and for us, a top donor is anyone who gives, 1,000 is in the upper ranges. We used to have someone who gave us 20,000 one year, and then the patent wore out on his invention, so then he didn't have the money to do that. But so we don't have a bunch of really big donors, but we went to these people who give 1,000 or more who give during the fourth quarter of the year, and asked them if they would hold off on their gifts so we could use them as matching. If they would match what was, everyone knows the matching of pledges during the drive. So we had contacts with them. And then the drive went from a Wednesday to a Sunday morning. And we're still counting results because checks are still coming in, but it was all virtual. Donate online or write a check and put it in the mail. We had some programmers in doing their shows, some volunteers doing their shows, others doing it pre-recorded and putting their pitches in pre-recorded. And then whenever we could, we got on the phone the volunteers who couldn't be there. We would get them on the phone. Like if it was a 4-person co-hosted show, the one who was up that week, we got the other ones to make cameos on the phone, so that everyone still got to participate. The on-air crew still got to participate in some way or another. And then when we had a couple times, we had 2 volunteers in the building at the same time, but we had them in adjacent studios talking, through the glass at each other over, they were, of course, mic'd up and, had the in-studio experience without actually being in the same studio. So that was our, we can talk drives strategy if anyone wants to, but that was a big, the theme of that was in this together. We're all in this together, and it resonated pretty well. We did a little bit better than we did at our November drive last year, and it was half as long. We didn't have any phone volunteers, and we didn't give out the phone number, so that's the big difference, and that's why we made it shorter, because the stress on staff becomes the two of us who are here at the building becomes, just to do the whole drive ourselves gets to be a lot. But we ramp up the week before the drive with messaging, and then the thank you and soft pitching for a few days after. So checks are still coming in, but we beat last year's drive so far by about $1,000. And we signed up 20 new sustaining members, which is really a big spike for us. I mean, we hadn't had any increase all year. And then for some reason, I think we pitched it better, but for some reason, 20 new ones came on board last week. So that's pretty great. And 55 new members. So that's another best for the year. New members have not gone up, and sustainers have not gone up until this drive. I guess we can all brainstorm ideas on why, but as we all know, the economy is not kicking ass, but people are still valuing community radio. So I did take a call today from someone who said, I just can't do it right now. I have to end my sustainership. I'm out of work, and, that tough situation for them. Post-drive thanks and appeal. Again, we just have a thank you message, and if you didn't get a chance to give, we're still happy to have you, and the website and the mailing address.
That's an on-air thing?
That's an on-air and on our website, yeah. It's an on-air promo announcement. I should have been clear. That I record, and we just put on, as soon as the drive ends, and runs for 4 or 5 days. And then we have a sign in the studio for programmers to do live reads of live thank yous. And with that punchline, if you'd still like to give, not a real big pitch, but just like, if you didn't get a chance or you'd still like to give, go to weru.org. And that brings in it keeps the message going a little bit without intruding on programming. Although one thing, I shouldn't say intruding on programming, because we regard during the drive, the pitching is part of programming. We try to keep it not from being the same two people saying the same thing every time. There's the variety, as we all try to do in community radio. The post-drive, we do the thank you letters that go out, and we have, like this time going out, we're like something like 150 or something like that, 200. And those are just your typical thank you letters. Then we call all our new members. And we have a staff person and a couple of volunteers from the development committee who call. We started doing this a couple years ago, and it didn't really catch on. And then we started doing it again in earnest this year. And it's finally, the people who like to do it are stepped up, and we have a little crew of development committee people. And they've had all positives, from calling people who just became members and just saying thanks, and, what made you want to give, and just a conversation about the station. So, and we've been hearing good feedback on that. So hopefully that, helps with retention and helps with additional gifts. We're going to do a promo, an on-air announcement, and then something in the e-newsletter and website about encouraging, again, more new and sustaining members. And it won't be like an in-your-face thing, but we've got a new volunteer who's got this happy voice, and she's great for promos. And she started the training before the pandemic and was going to be on a show, and then the pandemic hit, and it just didn't work out. So I've tapped into her she's like the golden voice. And we try to keep her busy every, at least have her do one announcement a month. And she's pretty happy with that. Just on a sidebar, she's a young woman who's the DJ at a roller rink and a skating rink so she decided she wanted to try radio after doing skating rink and roller rink DJing for like ever since she was in high school, and she's a lot of fun. So hopefully she'll be able to get on the air at some point in time. So that announcement, that promo will just be something light and friendly, and that'll run starting next week, and will run pretty much, at least, start out a couple, 2-3 times a day, and then taper down to once a day as we get towards the end of the year and we have other messaging coming along.
So when you say a new member promo, she goes on and asks for new members? Is that what?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. She asked for new members and sustaining members, and with a pitch, something akin to, we appreciate all our members. You can make the station go. You make our programming possible. And we're always looking for new people to join the family. And if you're listening but haven't given, but have an opportunity, have the ability to now, we'd love to have you on board. And, in a little bit, not as rote as that, but you get the idea. And then on the same promo, there'll be the pitch for sustaining members in there, and maybe you want to consider making a small monthly donation that adds up. Giving Tuesday is kind of interesting that we, in the past few years, haven't done fundraising for ourselves. We've done a couple nonprofit showcase shows where we have all kinds of nonprofits on the air for 3 to 5 minutes giving their talk and their fundraising appeal. And and usually we would get a couple donations, but not much. This year we decided to make it all about us because, one, we're needing to, and two, we've been doing a thing since spring called Let's Stay Connected, which is a motto I stole from Bear. And for their spring pledge drive was Let's Stay Connected. We used it as a campaign where we pick all the environmental groups in the area and said, WERU urges everyone to explore and support all the other wonderful nonprofits in the area. Then we would list them, and we're going through every nonprofit in the area practically. So we kind of feel like we've already been doing that piece, and doing a couple of shows on Giving Tuesday is a lot of work, and we just decided to pass on it. So we're going to be starting on Black Friday, messaging up to Giving Tuesday, and then, hoping to generate, I don't know how much, but some money on Giving Tuesday. And probably through an e-blast, and certainly on the website, and certainly on the air. And those messages will on the shows that are live, we'll have the DJs do live messaging. And for those that are shows that are pre-recorded, every other show is pre-recorded, we'll have recorded announcements built in at the beginning and end of each hour. So on our website, we're going to have a website and e-newsletter. That's the eWERU is our e-newsletter. And we're going to have a complimentary appeal between the two of them. The newsletter will have a lot of thank yous and have some testimonials from volunteers and listeners, 1 or 2 paragraph testimonials. Those will live on the website, but also be in the e-newsletter, or at least have some teasers in the e-newsletter to point people back to our homepage, back to our website. And of course, there'll be opportunities to give there too, but there'll be very conspicuous donate buttons. And the e-newsletter will probably go out halfway through December. And we've found that the last 2 to 3 weeks of the year have been, even though we're not doing a pledge drive per se, have been really, the money has come in pretty, a lot comes in during that last week in particular. And we just do promos on the air and have DJs saying, hey, if you haven't given this year or you want to give again, now would be a great time for the end of the year. And so what we're going to do is have that message in the e-newsletter go out on the 14th. Um, and that will ramp up to, well, and certainly the last week of the year, we'll have a Facebook and Twitter post each day with something around the giving message. We're not going to just put the same one every day, but we haven't figured out how they're going to be different yet. But we'll have a number of graphics, so it won't be the same picture, and we'll change up the message a little bit anyways. We're going to be contacting earlier this month. I got these out of order. I've got to move top donor and business contacts back. But the top donor, we have a few more people a couple who give about $1,000 a year who haven't given yet. And we're going to reach out to them and ask them if they would match gifts the last week or last 3 days or something like that of the year. We've really put an effort into getting matching dollars the last 18 months or so, more than we've done in the past, and it's paid off. And then the last week leading up to December 31st, we'll be promoting again all the giving things that I've mentioned, not interrupting regular music shows or public affairs shows, but having top of the hour messages primarily, and then soft pitches here and there throughout the live shows. But we're going to do a New Year's Eve radio dance party, which we did a few of during the lockdown in March and April. And we borrowed that from somebody on this list, on this call. And we're going to have one of the local town celebrations. They're going to put together an hour-long special of sampling of what they would have had for the New Year's Eve party. And that'll be on an hour. And then we'll break up the rest of the 4-hour block with half-hour different genres of dance music with some pitches mixed in at the top and the bottom of the hour saying, hey, it's the last time of the year if you'd like to give, and it's being matched dollar for dollar. So they won't be like heavy duty 3-minute pitching breaks. They'll be like 30 seconds, but just keeping that message going. Last year, without doing anything on New Year's Eve, we had, I don't know, something like $4,000 came in or $3,000 came in online. I might be getting the number wrong, but let's go with that. That sounds happy. But it was a couple $1,000s in the last 24 hours came in. So we're hoping it'll be a little bit more if we make a little bit of an effort. One of the things that we've done at the end of the year, but we can't do now, is instead of this New Year's Eve dance party, the last Saturday of the year, we do a thing we call Celebration Saturday. And it's where we kind of run a schedule of all the DJs who want to come in and do a set. And so it's genres after genre with different DJs, and it's kind of this big kind of party thing. And we do it like a one-day drive. And that usually brings in like $5,000 and 20 new members or something like that. So we can't do that now because we can't have everyone in the studio, and we didn't want to have to pre-record, too many 15-minute sets. So we're going with the dance party on the last day of the year. So I would say, just in a summary, is we kind of keep the message without being obtrusive. We keep the message going from Giving Tuesday on through, for all of December. And there's a sweet spot somewhere. There's too much that people start getting sick of it, and there's not enough where you're not asking, and if you don't ask, people won't give. And so it's sort of like we're adjusting it as we go along to our own ears, and people on the development committee saying, yeah, you might want to back off on that one. It's kind of, I'm not a sailor, but it's kind of like being at the tiller of a sailboat. So you got to kind of see where the wind is going. But so that's what we plan on doing. And I'm anxious to steal anybody else's ideas or to talk about what we're planning on doing. The end.
Matt, I apologize. I keep getting texts. How do you do the radio dance party?
Well, we're going to have what we've done, and we did earlier in the year, is a DJ or two record an hour of dance music and DJ it. It's all recorded, and DJ it. Every 15 minutes, come get on the mic, and just like they were doing a dance party in a gym, in a club or whatever, and we did two that were like wedding party dances, and one was a reggae dance party. And so we're gonna see how many. We're gonna do some Latin this time. We're gonna have certainly we're gonna have some ballroom dancing, some big band stuff, some anything, some kind of a world dance party segment, and we haven't brainstormed yet on who actually to invite to do that, but it's going to be some, certainly our programmers putting that together.
So you're going to have DJs come into the station to do
No,
it?
it's going to be all ones who can record it at home.
So it's all pre-recorded?
All pre-recorded. I or our development director, one of us may be here to do the midnight, hoopla thing. And because we want to have the last show, we want to hit Happy New Year, everyone, actually on New Year's, not a minute before or 2 minutes after. So if the automation, gets off by a little bit, we'll miss it. So we're probably going to have to have someone live here. Maybe there's a volunteer who might get into doing that. We'll ask around. Yeah, those are all going to be pre-recorded half-hour segments knitted together, and then in the in the ENCO system. We might, there's a possibility that there might be. We haven't really considered this, but there might be a possibility that there might be one or two of our really experienced, solid DJs who might want to come in and do their dance segment last and do it live. That's certainly doable. We just don't want to have a whole bunch of people cycling through.
Yeah, it's never occurred to me that New Year's Eve was a fundraising night. That's news to me. That's really great information.
Well, it just occurred to us to do it. The dance party idea came up, and then I don't know whether it was Mark, our development director, or I, or together said, we could raise a little money that night, because there's particularly with people being homebound for this New Year's, they always come in. Some always come in. So why not kind of leverage that, people being home, people wanting to have a good time, and people wanting to support the radio station. So we're going to give it a try. But again, I think there's going to be a sweet spot of not making
that sounds nice.
Yeah, but not making it a pledge drive, making it sort of, gentle reminders. And if we're able to say, and it's being matched dollar for dollar, we'll come out of the night with a couple $1,000s, maybe $3.
So you could potentially, arrange somebody to match on New Year's Eve, like a New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that's what we're
or
thinking
something.
about. Speak of the devil, our development director just walked in to do his jazz show tonight. Everyone say hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hi,
Mark.
There, now he feels very welcome.
And appropriately masked.
Yes, absolutely. So what I missed that question.
No, I was just saying you would be kind of like a New Year's Eve sponsor, right?
Yes, that's Mark and I are going to
Match.
be reaching out to some of these donors who generally give at the end of the year and haven't given so far, to see if they'll be up for matching. That, we won't have to push that really hard. Of course, matches, you don't need to, they're enticing without having to make, without having to pitch 8,000 times around them. So
I have to leave, but I wanted to ask you, Matt. So do you start I noticed on the 26th, so you do this the whole week then? You for 2 hours you have this kind of music?
Oh no, I'm sorry. The promotion will start on the 26th.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
for the 31st.
Yeah, for the 31st. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have a
And-
couple fun dance party promos and then also saying, hey, and by the way, if you give on during the dance party, it'll be matched dollar for dollar. So,
Okay. And
If you
then
do what? Say that again?
well, that if we'll have the announcements for the dance coming up, and then kind of a punchline will be, and if you'd like to donate, they'll be matched dollar for dollar. So if we're successful in getting the matches, so we'll have that message coming along during the week.
Oh, so you basically, you get somebody to say they'll match whatever you raise?
Yeah.
Can you do that? I've never done that. You can do that?
Yep. They just set a limit.
Mhm.
They set a limit, and then we work with it.
Okay.
And usually, you know what the limit's going to be because they gave 1,000 last year, and we say, would you, if we can match it, would you give 1,000 again this year? And they say, I can't right now, or I can right now. Sure, that's awesome. We just had one who I talked to and committed. He said, yes, I'll do it, and wound up, I think, I have to check, but I think giving more than he and his wife gave last year. So we have just a couple more to ask. We have, so we'll make an effort at doing that. If we don't, we'll still do the dance and still have the pitches in there. It just, the pot won't be quite so sweet for people wanting to give,
Are
At
these
what
like
time do you
top
start the dance
donors?
party?
We're going to start at 8. And with the hour-long show from the town they'll have a little folk music, somebody doing a little Christmas skit or whatever, and they might wind up having Noel Paul Stuckey from Peter, Paul, and Mary, who lives in town, who usually does a concert New Year's Eve. He'll probably have him giving some sort of, well wishes and maybe play a song. And that'll be pretty cool. And then we go at 9 o'clock, we'll go to a full dance party for the next 3 hours.
Hey, Matt, will you take calls from listeners during that time? I mean, it seems like that would be a way to sort of bring the community into the station in a way.
Are you meaning donation calls or just or like listener shout out calls?
Yeah, both. I was actually thinking listener shout out calls, but yeah, maybe even, like have your matching donors pre-record something or call in and say, hey, I'm going to match your gift, do it in their voice. But
Yeah.
no, I was actually thinking of just like listener shout outs.
Yeah. That's something. Well, it hadn't. I hadn't really thought about having someone live in the studio until we were talking here. So thanks everyone, because we did them all pre-recorded before. But yeah, if we have someone live in here, we may be able to do some, some shout outs. The trick about doing the putting a listener on the air is you never know what's going to happen on New Year's Eve. I might not
of
want
course.
to do that.
Yeah.
But we might still be able to just. Oh well, yeah. There's something that we could do to get people contacted, interacting. Yeah, there's something. Food for thought.
Yeah, the whole thing sounds like a really great idea. Especially given the circumstances of the year.
Yeah, and I don't know if some people are going to think it's like I said earlier, like a little crass trying to fundraise on New Year's Eve, but we won't go hog wild with it, particularly if we're able to offer the matches, the match. But we won't be breaking every 10 minutes for a pitch or every 15 minutes for a pitch like during a drive. So
What do you call it?
we're calling it, we haven't come up with any catchy name yet. So far it's just New Year's Eve radio dance party, which is a little long. We got to come up with something shorter.
Seems like it's people have so much hostility towards 2020. It seems like you could ride on that momentum a little bit, like the liberation.
Yeah.
Night or something.
2020 be gone.
Put a fork in it. Yeah.
Yeah. We had right after the one who shall not be named was elected, in 2016, we had a solidarity Saturday instead of celebration Saturday. And that was that was a one-day fundraiser, you know, and it worked out pretty well. We on those 1 days, it's been between 4,000 and 6,000 for those one-day drives, which are great fun and a lot of work because there's so many moving parts in terms of having cycling through 25 or 30 DJs in the day. It's pretty crazy, but not in the cards this year, but the dance instead. So, but I think you're right, Ursula. We have to have something about, you know, kicking 2020 out the door.
Yeah, it's everybody feels that a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So thanks for that idea.
Yeah, careful what you ask for, though. We don't know what 2021 is going to bring.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But
I was
I know if
gonna,
I came to this conversation and presented, I'd get a lot of good ideas. So that's my ulterior motive.
I like just dance party too. It's nice. Just focus on the now, man.
Yeah, yeah. Dance in the new year.
Yeah.
Dance in a better year.
So this order, that this kind of progression of events, is this something you've tweaked before? I mean, have you found this is really the most effective progression?
Yes, the things that we've done, I'll just put my pointer on the things that we've done in the past and have worked. The additional gift letter we started 2 years ago when we had a deficit, and it made up the deficit. So that was, you know, that makes anywhere between $5,000 and $8,000 a pop. The additional gift rather. The monthly renewals, our renewal cycle is since we've been doing it on a more frequent basis. I know it's not easy to do, and it takes, you know, personnel hours to do it, but it's paid off for us. People get a renewal letter saying, hey, next month you're up for renewal. If we don't hear from them, they get another letter saying, hey, it's your month, we hate to lose you. And then they get caught up in a lapse letter later on. And we've done better retaining people that way. So in this progression, the top donor contacts for the drive, very important. The post-drive thanks and appeal obviously comes after the drive, the on-air appeal, and we have it on our website right now too, a thanks and an appeal. This thanks happen anyways, and the thanks letters, we get them out within a week. Some people say they should hit the person's mailbox in 3 days, but that's a tall order. I find anyways.
Matt, how long is your membership drive?
This last one was what, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and till 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Our folk shows on the weekends are big fundraiser shows. So we wanted to so it goes till the Sunday coffee house, the Sunday folk show ends. In the past, they've gone from Saturday to Saturday. And so I like these shorter ones better for a couple of reasons. One, they're less tiring on myself and other members of the staff and some volunteers. And even though there's 3 staff pretty much running the show and not all kinds of volunteers cycling through to answer the phones and all that, by doing it all online, we don't have to do a lot of data entry. That's kind of the silver lining. It all just goes in that way. It's a trade-off though. I mean, it's fun having everyone here and having volunteers who just do phones 3 times a year, 4 times a year, feeling connected and involved and engaged, and people can call. It's a different animal without the calls, but the post-drive calls I think are really good, and it's a good thing that volunteers can do. I think that's a worthwhile thing that would work with just about any station. And you just need a couple extroverted volunteers, and all they have to do is they don't have to ask for money. They're just calling and saying, hey, thanks very much. And, why'd you give? What turned you on to donate? And so I would recommend that. The new and sustaining member on-air promo thing, that's something that can really be done anytime during the year, but we just want to, kind of double down on it, make sure we're doing it as part of our year-end message. Um, and in this, crazy year, there may be people who have been listening a long time but haven't given, and you know they feel moved. I mean, most of this drive we had that 55 new ones come in, and that's more than any other drive this year. So something is working, and I think a lot of it's appreciation, like for all of our stations, of being here for them in this time, in this insane and in many ways horrible time. That one of the silver linings is community radio is here strong for people, and so I think that new and sustaining member promo is something that we want to have in the December message. Giving Tuesday, I don't know how many other stations do Giving Tuesday things, but this will be our first time to do one asking people to give to us. So
Is Giving Tuesday like a national idea, like Throwback Thursday, or is that just a day you chose?
No, it's a no, that's not our thing. It's an International Support for Nonprofits Day.
Oh, okay.
As a counterpoint to Black Friday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have heard that before.
Yeah, and to Cyber Monday. It's
Right.
yeah, and so there's like a whole movement. I mean, I've been getting, and we don't, you can get all kinds of promotional materials and all that. We, being a radio station, we already have the megaphone, and getting the word out on air is how we're gonna stress it. And every nonprofit that I'm, either a member of or have been involved with, pull out the stops for here in Maine for, hey, it's Giving Tuesday, don't forget us, and here's a blast, here's an e-blast, and they don't have the radio, so we're gonna, we've always shared it, but this year, no sharing. It's for us.
But in your pitching, you're gonna say to people that it's Giving Tuesday?
Yes. Yeah. But again, I don't think we're gonna like beat it over the head with a bat, because we just got out of a drive 2.5 weeks earlier, and we're basically giving people a break from fundraising messages, except for a couple promos here or there. But when December, you can look at the deadlines of things here. Really, the messaging, the new and sustaining member promo will start up. Well, that date, yeah, I think that starts up a week before Thanksgiving, but it won't be, running 5 times a day. And then Giving Tuesday picks up on the 27th, day after Thanksgiving. And it'll probably say like, screw Black Friday, give to WERU on Giving Tuesday. We'll come up with something.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't forget, it's Black Friday is also Buy Nothing Day.
That's right. It's Buy Nothing Day too, right? And we've promoted that in the past too. Yeah, that's a good point. That's
Save
great
your money
point.
on Buy Nothing Day, and
give it to nonprofits on Giving Tuesday, or today. Why wait?
Yeah, why wait?
So that's the Giving Tuesday thing. And the thing that we did that we felt kind of our Let's Stay Connected campaign, we're really pleased with that. I mean, it was just an idea that just came up through Bear's pledge drive logo. I mean motto, and it's been a good deal of work, but there's a lot of goodwill in it. So I think anything that we can do that helps other nonprofits is good for us, and it really hopefully help them too, being on the air. Yeah, the website and the e-newsletter, the timing of the e-newsletter halfway through the month is, that's more or less just kind of a guess. Instead of making it so far ahead of the dance that people don't remember, but having it too close near the end of the year that they don't read it in time. So And the people here, Mark is met Mark before, our development director, and Willie is our finance manager. And the three of us have basically been running the drives since the pandemic started, Willie primarily working from home, watching the online gifts, and Mark doing some of that here. Mark and I doing on the air and coordinating volunteers who are on the phone, and then answering the stray times they come in on the folk show phone pledges. But it's been like a small, tight crew running the drives, as opposed to a bigger entourage of people during the, pre-pandemic style drives. I'm wondering, does anybody on the call have a fall drive coming up, or have yet to do their fall drive?
We're right in the middle of it.
Oh, you're in the middle of it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking time to be here on this.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate the information, If I hadn't come on, I wouldn't have found out about New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
But,
well, I mean, the dance idea occurred first, and then the fundraising thing, like, well, hey, we get donations New Year's Eve anyways. Why not ask for them?
mhm.
Yeah, KFAI just wrapped theirs up about a week ago.
Uh-huh. How'd it go?
I haven't heard final numbers. I think it went all right. It seemed like it was going well, during the drive, but I haven't checked in to see how it went.
Yeah.
I suspect it went okay.
We're not doing very well. It's very, very slow here.
Really?
Really slow, yeah. I mean, slow enough that I'm pretty worried.
What are you, who do you have in the station live? Is it all being done pre-recorded, or are you having live?
No, it's a lot of it's live. We have there's 3 of us staff people here in the station, and we have a pretty complex setup or agenda where a lot of our radio hosts are doing their shows live via Zoom.
Oh, yeah, okay.
With pitch partners. Well, we have like we have a pitch team that does the pitching, so the hosts don't pitch themselves. The pitch team pitches, although most of the people that are on the pitch team are host of another show.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of a combination between having the hosts come in on Zoom and having a pitcher come in with them on Zoom, or coming in on Zoom and having one of us pitch with them, being their pitcher. And there's a few select people where, oh, excuse me. Hold on a second. Stephanie, let me call you back, okay? I'm in the middle of a meeting. I'll call you right back, okay. We've kind of, I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but people have been locked out of the station since March, and people are just desperate to, they miss it so much. And so with a few people, we've said, okay, for the fund drive, you can come in and use the studio if you come in alone and, follow these precautions.
Yeah.
So there's a few people that are actually coming in, but very few, like I think maybe 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're doing that. And then and there's a few shows that usually come in pre-recorded that they're doing their show live during the fund drive. And then we're doing a lot of special programming during the fund drive.
Uh-huh.
We're having a lot of people doing like special shows where people are coming in to talk about the election and it used to be about the election, but the virus is such a big story by now that it's also become about that. So We have some commentators who are doing like, special interviews where we would usually have a syndicated show,
Mhm.
just talking about what's happening. And then there's pitching with that.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then with the and then we're having people call in endorsements of the station.
Mhm.
We're putting those in the syndicated shows.
Mhm.
So, and then we're doing like special music programming every afternoon. We're calling them passion sessions, which is just music for catharsis, just because everybody's so distraught around here.
Yeah.
And then that has pitching in it. That's pre-recorded. So, but a lot of it's live. A lot of it is live using Zoom. And
And
then
how-
just those of who are in the station are facilitating that in the studio.
And are you taking pledge calls, or is it all being done online, or?
A lot of people pitch pledge cards, but it's here in Ames, people do not call the station to pledge. It just doesn't happen.
Uh-huh.
It's people do it because they hear it on public radio, and so they feel compelled to tell people to call the station. But it's really people don't do it. They just don't do it, and it's always been a big disappointment for everybody because it's so reaffirming to get a call. But it doesn't. I don't know what it is. It just the culture for that just isn't here. I can't explain it.
That's very curious. So how do people get in touch? Is it almost all through your website?
This year I don't know. I mean, we do pitch the website a lot, but we're not getting a lot of donations online, considering how much we're pitching. At like maybe 2 a day, tops.
Hmm.
And they're usually around $100. So we're not talking about any real money. And so I don't know. I'm very, very nervous. I mean, in the past, the way it worked here was we did a mail drop right before the on-air pitching. And then the on-air pitching kind of drove people to the mail, to answer those letters.
Mhm.
And that happened a lot. But the trouble with that is that you're always going to the same people, right? I mean, that's only as good as your mailing list, and our mailing list is not big enough to sustain the station yet. So it's good, but and I'm sure like this year the mail drop is really, really late. It hasn't happened yet. So we've kind of lost a week of pitching, and I think the mail drop will happen on Monday, hopefully. And then I have a feeling donations will start coming in from that. But like I said, it's a limited list, and our bigger donors have already donated. They donated when the pandemic hit to keep the station going. So I think our large donors have already donated.
What do you, during the pitching, what do you ask listeners to do? Go to your website? Is that where you're sending people?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
Like I said, people throw in the phone number because it's habit, but mostly we're asking people to go to the website. And there's a very, very lukewarm response to that. So in the past, another way that people, I would say almost half the people wanted to literally bring their donations to the station, because people enjoy, it's a small town. People enjoy bringing, we have an adorable building. People like coming here. So a lot of the donations happened with people just coming to the station. And then we would have a concert series for 2 weeks, 3 nights a week. And that was also a time when people would bring donations, but we're not doing that this year. We tried to have 2 concerts, we had to cancel them because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so I honestly don't know how this is going to happen. I think the mail drop will make a difference, but I don't believe that it's enough money to raise what we need. So I am really confused myself about what's going to happen. And it's disturbing that the pitching on air is getting so little response online. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I'm not sure what that means.
Mhm.
So I'm very worried. I think the station is doing great, but I don't see the funding coming, you know. I think that there's lots of interest in the station and lots of, you know, support for it in the community, but it has not been translated into money yet. It just hasn't.
Could you get any, do you have any testimonials, you know, from people who are members and supporters, get them on the phone to do a pitch? Like you did a pitch.
Yes, we do that.
Yeah.
Yes, we do that. And we put those in the syndicated shows.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, we do that. Um,
Years ago, I was one of those testimonials, I think.
we probably have you somewhere. We should drag you out again.
Yeah, I was on the morning show, I think. You were hosting.
That's right. So I'm kind of mystified right now. I feel like I just am not understanding. I'm not understanding what's happening. I think the concert was also going to be live streamed, and I think that would have gotten attention. But it's so bad here right now. It just, you know,
What happened?
canceled it. We really, really tried.
Yeah, what happened with the concert that you had to cancel it? I mean, it was going to be online, right?
It was going to be online, and there's a large concert venue here at Iowa State, very, very large, like, you know, for thousands. And they were going to give us they had kind of an arrangement where you could actually take their stage and have a concert, and the audience on the stage is so big that you could put an audience and a concert on the stage and have social distancing. So we were going to have, like, you know, 30 people live and then streaming it. And it would have been a very classy thing, but it just became apparent that, you know, for safety reasons and for public relations reasons, to hold an in-person concert right now is just not going to work.
Right.
You know, it's not going to work.
Right.
And it's too much for everybody to deal with. So we just canceled it. So I don't know. I'm feeling really mystified myself about what exactly. I don't quite understand what's happening.
Mm,
You know, one of the things I see in the schedule you made is, you know, it's kind of accumulative. You know, you kind of come at it from a lot of different angles all the time,
right.
and create that drumbeat in a way. If you
Yeah,
can call it that.
exactly. Yeah. And that's something that's evolved over time, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
and um, you know, hopefully it's going to work now through the end of the year. We have 50,000 more to raise to
Yeah.
finish in the black, and you know, so
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm concerned. Our goal is 60,000, and we've been pitching now for a week, and we've raised about 4.
oh,
That's just, you know, I mean, I understand it picks up the closer you get to New Year's, it picks up. But that's pretty slow. So I don't know, maybe I'm worrying for nothing. Maybe it'll kind of click into place all of a sudden, you know, maybe everybody's going to give all on the same day. We're also going to do another silent auction because that worked out real well for us.
okay, we're going to do an auction sometime during the year, during 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, that they weren't
HOI
really.
do any Giving Tuesday promos?
We haven't really been paying attention to Giving Tuesday, and I'm listening to Matt. I'm thinking maybe we should.
I like having the Buy Nothing, starting the announcements on Buy Nothing Day, and then making a point of that. Save your money on Buy Nothing Day for, yeah. That
Yeah, I don't think Buy Nothing Day is a thing around here. I don't think people, is it Stephanie? Do people know what that is?
I haven't heard it myself, but is that
Yeah,
it's like the anti-Black Friday thing?
yeah.
yeah, I don't think people relate to that here.
Yeah, I even think just doing a thing on Black Friday that, you know, save your money and give it to community radio instead of, you know, some fun messaging around that.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We're absolutely hilarious here, so we'll come up with something really funny.
Send us some of your jokes. We'll use them.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll try them out on Midwesterners. Yeah, well, I really get the tweaking of this flow. That's kind of what it's all about, right? Is learning how to keep that momentum going, and like you said, not to exhaust people, but how to kind of keep it going in a way that it finally sinks in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, finding that sweet spot where it's not overbearing, but it's not, you know, so bashful that people aren't even noticing it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
We've got an announcement for planned giving, bequest giving. We've got one for our underwriting, and so now this new and sustaining member one will come to the fore in December. You know, so. And we just started doing underwriting on our website and our app, and we've had a little bit of action on that. Not a lot, but we have one. No, we have two. So,
Matt, can I ask you about something that I'm eternally confused about? Like with the Giving Tuesday, where you promote other causes, not this year, but in the past. What is the difference? I know that there's also restrictions about interrupting regular programming to raise funds for another organization.
right.
What difference? I don't understand like how those two things are. But how does that work?
Well, you can't interrupt programming, right? So we're not using it the show is nonprofits giving their elevator speeches, and we're not on the air saying call in now, make a donation. They're saying, hi, I'm from the land trust, we preserve this, we do that, here's a story of success, and if you'd like to find out more and make a donation, go to landtrust.org. That's about as
are they on regular
yes.
program? I mean, do you have them on regular programs? Is that how it works?
No, it's a program just of them. With like
Isn't that interrupting regular programming?
No, because it's in a slot where we have specials, it's usually on. I mean, it may interrupt. We may not do, alternative radio that day if it falls on the right thing, but it's not like breaking up in the middle of. We're not fundraising. We're not changing the station programming to fundraise for another organization. It's basically them doing their little spiel. And as aggressive as it gets is, and if you'd like to support us, go to landtrust.org. And I think, I don't know, I may be wrong, but I think that's okay because we're not, interrupting the regular flow of programming. It's a special program featuring the voices of lots of other nonprofits, like 20 an hour. Or 15 an hour, something like that.
So theoretically, we have like a morning show. Theoretically, on Giving Tuesday, we could have a bunch of nonprofits on the morning show.
Yeah.
And that would still be legal.
Yeah. As long as you weren't like, saying, as long as it wasn't sounding like long as it wasn't a pledge drive,
So there's no call to action.
Right.
So when they come on, can they please go to our website? Can
Yeah,
they-
I don't think you have to worry about call to action because they're not giving you money
Right.
for this. So
Uh-huh.
I think
Right.
you actually
Okay.
can encourage people to give.
Yeah. And they, just like if you're
Huh.
doing a show on land trusts in the area and environmental issues, and one of them, and the host says, so for people who want to find out more information, where can they go? If the guest then throws in, and we're always looking for donations, that's fine. You know,
Yeah.
that's fine. So yeah, your morning show is perfect for that.
Okay.
The-
Okay.
Yeah, have your
the one-
favorite nonprofits on. Um,
Yeah, but I think this year, I think we're going to do what you're doing. We're going to make ourselves the
benefactor.
subject. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that sticks in my mind about fundraising for other nonprofits is there's some kind of time limit related to like a percentage of your overall broadcast year or month or something like that.
Oh, okay.
You can't, in other words, you can't become a full-time fundraiser for other entities.
Right. You have to get a waiver from the FCC, and they only really do it for like natural disasters and war or whatever. I can't remember the one that we were involved with. Us and WMPG in Portland, Maine, did a joint fundraiser for. Oh, it was Katrina. It was Hurricane Katrina. But you had to have a waiver in order to fundraise for
Yeah,
something
right,
else.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, geez, I hope things pick up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, I hope I'm just panicking too early. I'm just confused by it right now. And it's frustrating because I'm hearing really, really good pitching on the air. I think people are really outdoing themselves with the pitching this year. It sounds great. And the fact that it's not showing up, I don't know if it's because people just don't like to give online.
Hmm.
It could be that, the people just don't like to do online.
Yeah, and if you have a community that likes to walk by the station and come in the front door and hand somebody a check, that's got to be discouraging for them.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, it used to be kind of like an important part of the energy was kind of just the cumulative effect of people kind of coming to do endorsements and then writing a check while they're here, or coming to a concert, or coming by to see how the fund drive is going. It was kind of like the in and out dynamic of being able to walk into our really adorable building.
Yeah,
Was
you.
part of the energy of it.
Yeah, your physical space and physical locations critical to the station. See, we're on the highway or on Route 1. You got to drive to get to us from anywhere. So
Yeah.
it's not we do have some people drop off their donations over the years, but it's not like the main way at all. Yeah, it's not like the primary way at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you should make like a special little mailbox in the door or something. And
Well, we have a mailbox. I mean, we tell people all the time, we have a nice mailbox. I don't want to call attention to it because I don't want people to know that there's money sitting in there.
yeah,
But we do always say on the air, we're sorry we can't let you in, but we have a really great mailbox. I have not seen a response to that yet. So,
But yeah, they don't want to walk by and drop something in and keep walking. They want to come in and hang out.
they want to come in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of frustration that the building is closed because the building itself has always been a very, a loved entity onto itself.
Mm-hmm.
The cutest building in town.
And it's got an awesome name.
It has an awesome name, right, David? Yeah. Well,
Hey, I got to get going.
yeah. Who is 423? Who is that?
On the phone.
Yeah. Somebody's on the phone. I was just,
hey, 423, what's up? 6969.
it's a secret.
It's the
Well,
FBI.
Well, if you want to talk any more about the drive, if you want to brainstorm, Ursula, give me a call, you know.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that, Matt. Can I ask you another question too while I have a senior or experienced station manager on the air? I have a scenario that I'm not sure I understand. There's this really great blogger who's a political commentator here in Iowa, and she's been doing some commentary on the air, and she contacted me yesterday and said that she would like to report on the legislature for KHOI at a nominal fee, like, you know, I mean, really is a nominal fee. And that would give her credentials to get into the state house. And so she's offering to do like regular reporting on the legislature for us, which would be fantastic. My question is, and she said, you know, she would do it, it would be reporting, it wouldn't be commentary. But she does have a pretty well-established blog where she does commentary. Is there any legal problem with us hiring her to report for us if she has a commentary where she clearly identifies herself as a Democrat?
I mean, doesn't work for the party, does she?
No, she's a blogger.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't see anything wrong with that. You know, I mean, in terms of, you know, her having the reporter's credibility, that's kind of more where I would think that if people see her as a blogger and as an opinion person, is her reporting going to be so slanted that, you know, it's suspect? The only way for her to do that is to do it and do it right, you know?
Yeah, I guess we would find out.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the truth is politics in Iowa are so slanted anyway. I can't, I mean, I'm not sure how you could, I mean, you know, we have a Republican governor, House and Senate. So it's going to be very extreme stories this year, no matter who you are. The stories kind of write themselves, you know? I mean, all sorts of stuff is going to start happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you even have to be slanted. You just have to tell what's happening.
Right.
It might work out, you know. I guess you would just have to see, right, how she reported.
Do you have a policy about programmers editorializing on the air, or do you have short features where people are commentary? Or, I mean, we have a non-editorializing policy that, like, if you're a music programmer, don't give a speech on politics.
Yeah, no, we do too.
Yeah. And same with public affairs hosts, we tell them, you know, you get to pick the guests, the topics, all that. We do have in some short features, some shows that we kind of let commentary slide into them over time. But they're not, you know, they're not people, they're 3-minute long commentaries. But I think a person who could prove, you know, I mean, she would prove herself, right?
Right. It's just that she does have a public presence of being a Democrat. And I don't know if you don't think that's a problem. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, you know, I mean, nothing wrong with being a Democrat, but she makes her living by talking about that or expressing her opinions. And I just wasn't sure, like, at what point the FCC or the IRS feels that. I just don't know. That's why I was asking.
You want to stay away from plugola issues of her promoting herself and what she makes money on the air.
Yeah.
So she would have to not mention her blog, not do any, you know, pitching for her own work outside of the station.
Right. Yeah.
I just
I don't think it's a problem. I think what she wants from us is she wants credentials to get into the State House.
Yeah.
That's all she wants. And then she will make her own commentary on her blog for sure.
Yeah.
But she said she understood that for us, she would just have to report. But I don't think she's looking to promote herself on our station. She just wants to be able to get into the State House.
Yeah. Well, if she's trustworthy, I wouldn't want to give the credentials to someone I wasn't sure of.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. a little bit better.
I think I'd probably, well, what we do before we would give that access, we'd make someone go through the training, the
Well,
orientation.
and not only that, but you can, if you plan to use stuff on the air, you can easily preview it before it goes on the air. I mean,
Right.
the only thing out of your control is how she behaves when she's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might send somebody trusted that along the first 1 or 2 times or something. I don't know. You know how to handle that better than I do. But
Yeah.
it seems like the risk is really when she's there and
Yeah.
how she interacts with the people.
And what could you imagine her doing?
I don't know her, but I could imagine somebody, getting angry at somebody that they're interviewing because their policies are all wonky compared to what the interviewer, think they are. I don't know. I mean, if it sounds like it's a fairly low risk from what you've described, so who knows? But
Okay.
if she's got a badge on her that says, KHOI News or KHOI
Right.
Press, something like that, might
Right.
tarnish your reputation with.
Yeah, she would definitely have to conduct herself as a reporter as opposed to a blogger and a commentator.
Yeah.
I would have her do the station training, and say that which realistically anyone we're going to give credentials to has to go through our training, and we have to get to know them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this time I got to go.
Yeah.
Bye, David. It's good to see
Okay.
you.
Bye, David.
Have
Hi,
a
David.
good week off if you take next week off.
Yeah, we'll take next
Parts
week
of
off for roundtable anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing the inside of your fundraising ship, Matt.
Yeah, that was good information, Matt. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Matt, do you think that for your dance party, like at a time when it's possible, would you do like a video dance party?
How would that? What do you mean? How
Well,
would
like you would have a live band on a video stream instead of records.
Oh, that's possible too. Yeah.
Like to have it on your website.
Yeah, we just partnered with an area theater to do they did a live a live stream concert with a local artist, and then when we recorded it and turned it into a radio show. So we helped promote their live stream, and then we got a radio show out of it as well. So that and that was a trio on stage, on a big stage, just them, and the engineers in the room. Yeah. So I've been going to a bunch of concerts, online concerts, and I mean, I don't know if we could pull it together to do one for New Year's, but that would be a pretty neat idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You guys do more concerts than we do, so that you might have you just wouldn't have an in-person audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Matt. I really appreciate it. And I already know a few people that I'm going to, give this recording to because it's really, really valuable information.
Oh, well, thanks. I don't hear that very often when I talk, so that's good.
That's hard for me to believe, to tell you the truth. But.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
Ursula.
Thank you, Matt.
Take care. Yeah.
We'll see
Everyone
you.
have a good Thanksgiving.
Yes, you too.
Yeah.
You too. And we'll see you some Thursday down the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
Okay. Take
There you
care.
All right.
go.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.